A question that I get asked time and time again: what books do you recommend for a beginner copywriter? And so that's what I'm gonna cover in this video. I have about 15 or so books that I highly recommend, but there's gonna be a top 3. And so I really recommend watching this entire video because there's a lot of value and there's a lot of really, really good books in here. Book number 1, How to Tell a Story. So essentially, this is a group of people that tell stories, and they are trying to get better at telling stories more persuasively and more effectively. And it is basically a journal of every important component of a good story. Highly recommend it, especially if you're a content creator or you write for content creators or you write emails. Telling a story will make you thousands of dollars if you're able to do it properly. So that's book number 1. Again, these will all be in the description if you want them, so go check them out. Book number 2, my personal favorite, Any Copywriter. Okay, so I just showed you a book that's more so for storytellers, still important for a copywriter, but this book right here is for copywriters. The Boron letters. I mean, this is a 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10. He goes into diet of a writer. He is imprisoned for mail fraud, first of all. I want to preface by saying that. But he goes into the diet of a good copywriter. He goes into working out and why it's important. He goes into how to write effective copy, how to stand out in the marketplace. I mean, it's a full A to Z guide. This is one of the best books for a copywriter. Book number 2, not so much, I guess, for a copywriter, but more so for your personal development, has changed the game for me completely. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Not going to get into them. Highly recommend you read them. I want to tell you a story because this next book helped me with sales. My first sales call ever. I hop on the Zoom call and the prospect or the client, potential, I guess, prospect asks me a couple questions and I didn't have answers to them. I didn't know how to handle their objections. And so I just left the call and I told them my Wi-Fi crashed. This book right here solved that nervousness feeling I had. It showed me that sales isn't that scary and anybody can do it. It's called Never Split the Difference. It'll teach you everything you need to know about sales. So it's just a really good book about negotiating specifically, but it's helped me so much. Just speaking with people and then getting on sales calls and closing them. So that's a really good sales book. Next up, what would this list be without Russell Brunson's Dotcom Secrets? Teaches you how to build funnels, teaches you kind of the basic foundations. I refer to this book all the time. Again, there's book summaries for all these books. I have tons of highlighted notes in the description. Go steal them. It's in the school specifically, but if you check my Instagram, if you check my Twitter, they're kind of littered. Those facts are littered all throughout the content. So that's where you can find it. I'd recommend checking those out as well. That again, Dotcom Secrets is the book I just showed you. Very important for copywriters. This book is also really great book on handling, on getting better with sales calls. Once I understood some of the basic principles in this book, my life changed for sure. This was probably the most important and most pivotal book for me out of all of the ones I've showed you. Next up, more so if you're not into reading, this is the book that got me into reading. It's called The Alchemist, and it's just a story essentially of really my copywriting journey. It's pretty much, I don't want to get into it too much, but it's turning nothing into gold. And when I say nothing, I mean a blank Google document into copy that does $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 in MRR for some businesses. So I turned really nothing into gold with my skill. This book talks a bit about that and kind of the journey that you may encounter as a copywriter. Here, now we're getting into the more juicy copywriting books. Cashvertising. The list wouldn't be complete without this book. It's a 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. Any books that I've said 10 out of 10 for, please just get those at least. This one will give you the psychology behind an audience, how to handle traffic a bit. And it's one of the best copywriting books. If you're just getting started, highly recommend it. I have a full book summary in the school community, so you can check it out. You don't have to order the book, you can just look at the summary. This book, I don't see a lot of people talking about it, but it's a book by Jim Edwards, Copywriting Secrets. This is one of the best copywriting books. My onboarding process, the questions I ask on the sales call, my entire writing process really is stemmed from this book right here. And again, if you want this book's entire book summary, go check the description because it's all there. You just got to steal it and then you can leave after. I'm not promoting anything. I'm just telling you, take what is in there and then leave. Next up, this book, Atomic Habits, right here. Great book. It's not necessary, but this whole journey does get difficult and you need to be okay and understand that. And so once you understand how to build habits and stay consistent, it's over. You've honestly won. You probably need 60 to 90 days to really stay consistent until you just blow your competition out of water. People don't work that hard. And so if you just put a little bit of work and you read all those books I just showed you, I promise you it's going to make things a lot easier. But there's one more piece that I want to leave you with, and that is the systems that's gotten me here. A lot of people will probably click off at this point, but I just want to show you my personal day-to-day system that I think will really help a lot of people. I'll make another video on this. This is more tailored for productivity guys, girls that, maybe need some inspiration on how to be more productive. So I'm going to go ahead and show you. I'm going to stand up for this one and just walk you around my room. So I got my filming light, my camera over there, but this is the setup right here. So there's a lot going on. I have my mouse over here. I actually use an iPod for music to avoid distractions. I don't want to get pulled into YouTube, to Spotify. I want to know the playlist I'm playing is good and will, cause fluidity throughout my entire work session. This iPod right here does a great job at doing that. Next up, productivity hack. Get an old phone. I forward all of my text messages from my iPhone to this thing right here. Absolute game changer if you struggle with mindlessly scrolling. I've tried all the productivity apps. They do work a bit, but that right there, getting a second phone, absolute game changer. I just leave my phone in my car and I've never used my phone during a work block ever. Next up, I have my laptop, my keyboard, and that is kind of the whole setup. One other thing, I have some sticky notes there as well. Those are my systems. That's part of what has taken me so far. I really think the most important things here are the books, your environment that you have, which is what I just showed you, and then the systems that go within that environment. I have everything in here, the camera setup, everything's already set up. So that's all I got. Thank you for watching. See you soon.